Just sitting in some rush hour traffic, figured I'd do a quick little live stream and tell you guys it's official. We bought the International. Here's the title real quick. So the title of the video is Sacrifice Pays Off, Be Patient. And I just want to tell you guys I want to tell you guys all the sacrifices that I feel I've made since I started my business, or since before I started my business. This guy's got a Mustang over here, keeps revving it up. You guys hear it? Anyways, so some of the sacrifices we made. So before we even started the business, we went on a very, very, very strict food budget. We bought it, Ryan. $55,000, we bought it. I just went and did a $30,000 down payment today, and I'm waiting for some money to transfer, and then I'll pay the $25,000 midweek next week. We got it. It's ours. So the first thing we really sacrificed was on our food budget and like our household budget. We really sacrificed, guys. I'm talking, we were on a $150 monthly budget. And what that covered was $25 a week for food, and then $50 for like household items like diapers, wipes, cleaning, dog food, all that other stuff that goes along with that. That's in that budget. $150 a month. Is that doable today? Yes, it's still doable. Nothing's really changed, right? Another thing that we've sacrificed, since forever is we've never really bought in a brand new vehicle other than the Super Dump. We've never bought in a brand new vehicle. And I sold I had a 2008 Ram Cummins. It was all horsepowered out and everything. It was amazing. I sold it because I was making payments on it, and I was done making payments, and I wanted to be able to save my money. So we sold that, and I had a beat up 85 F250 IDI. I got videos on the channel in the playlist. If you go look up, you can see it. It's the ugliest, most redneck pickup you will ever see in your life. It literally had like a smokestack with a flapper on it. The side trim was made out of duct tape. It had board tailgates. So I had two boards for the tailgate. They had Ford Tough spray painted on it. It was the epitome of a redneck truck, right? I mean, when you think of redneck truck, that was it. So that's one of the major things I've always sacrificed, is having like a new vehicle or a very nice vehicle. Yeah, we got it in landscape this time. I figured I'd just give it a shot. I personally like doing it in portrait, but some people like the landscape better. If you're watching it on your phone, it's better in portrait. And I figure most people watch it on their phone, so I don't know. You can pull the whole thing down and you can see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying my budget is for everybody, right? Like, it's obviously very extreme. Not everybody can do a $25 a month food budget and survive, right? It's very extreme. Yeah, I'm in rush hour traffic, dude. We're literally going 5 miles an hour. It sucks. So, okay, so I sacrificed the food budget, sacrificed the vehicle. We've always sacrificed in like living quarters, right? So our first house was very nice. When me and my wife got married, it was very, very nice, but it was very small. It was 750 square feet. So just giving you an idea how big it was extremely small, but it was just me and my wife, so it worked. You know, we made it work. But it had quartz countertops, it had the stainless steel fridge with the water dispenser. You know, it was nice. It was very nice. And then we decided, and this was all before the business, all of it. And then we decided, you know, this is nice and all, but we want to catapult ourselves into a different tax bracket. I'm sick and tired of making minimum wage or 20 bucks an hour, you know, because that's about what I was making when we were at that house. And I thought I was making great money then. I literally thought, I was like, man, I can't get better than this. And then it did get better, you know, because we sacrificed even harder. And then we went and we moved into, we sold that house and we moved into a camper, right? So this is the second time we've lived in a camper. The first time was when we sold our house. We moved into a camper. It was like a 25-foot camper. It didn't have any pull-outs or nothing. It was so crammed, and I just remember, it was me, my wife, the dog, and baby Brian, and Turtle lived in the sink. We had a turtle, and he was living in the sink, guys. We had to wash our dishes with the turtle in the sink. Like, we would take him out of the sink and put him in the shower when we were washing dishes, and then put him back in the sink. You know? Yeah, kind of a crummy life. I'm not gonna admit. I'm not gonna deny it. That turtle, man, he went through more than I ever went through. But anyways, so we lived in the camper for like 6 months, 7 months while we were looking for a duplex. Okay, why did we want a duplex? Okay, everybody knows you live in one half and rent the other half and it pays for the mortgage. Well, that's partially true, but not 100% true. It depends on what duplex you buy and what you pay for it, right? So we when we lived in our downtown Puyallup house, we were paying, like, I want to say it was either, I think it was $1,300 a month. $1,300 a month. We were paying $1,300 a month for rent. And, you know, that was doable easily with what I was making. But then when we went to the duplex, the mortgage payment went up to $2,000, but we had a renter paying, so we were paying $875 a month, right? So that was the sacrifice we made. We went from a very nice house with water dispensing refrigerator, you know, tons of counter space, tons of cabinet space, high tech. It even had like a mini fridge for like wine and stuff, but we never drank wine. We just put soda pop in there. But, you know, that's how cool the house was. Like, it had a mini fridge, you know. It was small, but it was nice. It was perfect. And then we moved into this duplex, right? Sacrifice. It had more square feet, but it was bigger, right? It had more space. I've always wanted a shop, you know, and that's another thing I've sacrificed forever. I've never had a shop. I've been working out of a one-car garage my whole entire life, and I outgrew a one-car garage when me and my wife got married. I mean, I already had enough tools to fill a one-car garage and a project to fill that, no problem, you know. So we bought the duplex thinking, okay, we'll live in one side, rent the other. You know, it's got enough property. Maybe I'll build a shop or something. And at this time, when we lived in downtown Puyallup in the nice house, I tried to start a business doing mobile welding part-time while I had my full-time job, and I failed. You know, I found out that it wasn't for me. I could not make enough money welding part-time to, you know, justify getting out of work and just trying to do that full-time. And so, you know, that was a very big learning experience, but it did open my eyes to the potential of how much money you can make if you run your own business. If you're 100% dedicated, you know, because I remember one day I got a gig for one day and I made like $1,000 in that one day doing welding. I was just charging like $75 an hour, and I ended up rebuilding this back truck for this guy. And you know, it opened my eyes because I was like, whoa, like this is like a reality. Like I can really make this kind of money, but staying busy is the thing, right? And I was like, well, it's not for me. I love welding, but I can't do it every day. It's not my, you know, I like doing it as a hobby and as making art and stuff, but it's not something I wanted to do full time. So I gave that up, right? We moved into the duplex, and then, you know, we were still on our super strict diet, super strict budget, right? Super strict. And the only nice car we had is this Escape, and it's a 2011, guys. When we bought it, it had 100,000 miles, right? So it's not even, you know, it's nice, but it's not, you know, the best thing in the world. So, okay, so then there's that. And then, let's see, we're living in the duplex. I'm working, driving tankers, and I just feel like, you know, I'm still not, like, we're getting somewhere. Like, we're saving money. This is when we really started to save money, when we moved into the duplex, because our rent went from $1,300 to $800, right? Or $875 or something like that. So we were able to save like $400 more a month just by doing that. And then, so in 2 years of basically living in the duplex, or like a year, it was like a year and a half, a year probably, we saved like 10 grand just, you know, sacrificing everything. We don't really go out to eat. We don't really go to the movies. This was all before movies were actually a thing. You could actually go to a movie theater and watch a movie. Now, I know you guys, you don't even know about movie theaters because they don't exist anymore. Or restaurants, those don't exist either. But back in the day, you know, we could have went to those, but we didn't because we were saving our money. So we saved up 10 grand, and we were probably saving that just for retirement, right? That's what we were really saving it for. And then I got this wild hair idea. I'm like, you know, I'm just sick of working for people. I want to work for myself. So sick of working for people. You know, I'm sick of the politics. You know, this driver is getting paid this, or this one's getting paid that, and he's jacking off at work, and I'm working my butt off, and I'm making less than him, and he's friends with the owner, and I'm not, and so I'm over here getting the short end of the stick every single time. I was like, I'm sick of this. I want to be somewhere better in life. And I'm like, okay, I got three options. Welding, roofing, or trucking. Right? Those are, in my head, those were my three options, because I delivered roofing for so long. I know everything there is to know about roofing, just about. Like, I could be a roofer today if I wanted to be, but I hate roofing. Like, I delivered roofing, and that totally killed my want to do that. So I was like, nope, not for me. Check that mark off. And I learned that welding wasn't really it for me either. Check that mark off. So I'm like, okay, trucking is what I can do best. I can utilize my CDL, right? So now, what kind of truck do I want to drive? I'm thinking, okay, little Brian likes dump trucks. I'm thinking I like tanker trucks because I've been driving tanker trucks forever. I'm like, I could easily hop in a tanker truck and, you know, I would know everything, right? But the problem with the tanker truck is the insurance is like triple probably of what a dump truck is. So I basically was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to be able to afford. I was talking to my boss about possibly buying one of his tankers and then like leasing onto his company. But I knew that they would never let something like that fly because they are kind of control freaks, you know, which rightfully so. They work so hard for their business, you know, they deserve it, you know. But I was thinking, you know, maybe if I bought their tanker, I could do that. But then I asked them what they wanted for their oldest tanker, like the most junkiest one they had. And they wanted like 50 grand for it, I remember. And I was like, what? Like 50 grand for that? Like, you're out of your mind. There's no way, you know? And he's like, well, yeah, the truck's probably worth 30 and the tank, you know, is probably worth 20 or something, you know? And I was just like mind blown. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And then I was like, okay, sounds like a dump truck's gonna be easier for me to get. And I knew, this is how little I knew, but I liked the idea of running a dump truck because my grandpa bought a D700. It's just a 5-yard with a 16-foot bed, but it had a hydraulic tilt on it. Didn't have sidewalls or nothing. Didn't have sidewalls. It was just a flatbed that could dump, right? He bought it to haul his case backhoe. And I was thinking, yeah, maybe I'll get started with this thing, you know? And that never happened because the clutch burned out in it the second time I used it. And then I was like, well, I could easily buy a single axle dump truck. You know, 10 grand will easily buy a nice one of those. But then I was like, well, I wouldn't be using my CDL. And then I was looking at rates and stuff, and people were like, well, the small dump trucks get paid $75 an hour, and the triaxles make $120. I was like, that's a no-brainer. I'm buying a triaxle, right? So then I had in my head, okay, we're going to sacrifice and we're going to save until we get this triaxle. And I was going to save up like 30 grand to buy a nice triaxle. And then I started talking to my buddy Robert. It's like, hey man, he owned his own business at that point, and it was a carpet cleaning business. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna start my own business doing dump trucking. And I told him, I'm like, I got 10 grand saved up. I'm gonna save up and, you know, I'll get about 30 grand and then I'll buy a nice dump truck and then I'll go into business. And he's like, no, dude, that ain't you. Buy an old used beat up dump truck and just work on it after work and fix it up. You know how to fix stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't really want to work on stuff that much. I mean, I know how to do it, but I don't really like doing it. He's like, no, that's you, man. You need to buy an old beat up junk and fix it. It'll be a lot cheaper that way. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. It will definitely be a lot cheaper, and I'd be able to jump into that sooner. So I started checking Facebook. Or not Facebook, it was Craigslist back then. It wasn't Marketplace. Now, back then it was Craigslist. Checking Craigslist, and I found 2 dump trucks that were close to my price range, right? So the Peterbilt, the guy wanted $10,000 for it, and there was a Kenworth with this ugly tub box. They wanted like 16 grand for it, but it was in Yakima, which was like 7-hour drive. Versus the Peterbilt, which was a 2-hour drive. I'm like, that's kind of a no-brainer. The Peterbilt's cheaper and it's closer. Let's go, you know. So I emailed the guy and I was like, hey man, tell me about the dump truck. You know, is it roadworthy? Like, what, you know, what's up? And the guy sugarcoated everything. He was like, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. You know, he did say it got tipped over once, so it's not pretty, but he's like, yeah, it's got the old Detroit in it, you know, she's a money maker, you know, just sweet talk me, because I told him that I had never been in a dump truck before. I'd never, you know, what the heck? Rock just hit my car. So and looked at it. I did a video. We bought the cheapest dump truck on Craigslist. I did that video, and that was me before I went to look at it and once we got it home. I wish I would have done the video when we were looking at it, and that might have even been a day or two after I bought it. And so back then I didn't even know what I was looking at. If I would have seen that dump truck today, I would turn around and run. I would, man. That thing was so bad. It was so bad, I should have just turned around and run. But I didn't. I bought it. So then, okay, so then here we are. We sacrificed and we saved up 10 grand, and then I bought a dump truck for 8,000, so we had 2 grand left. We kept sacrificing for another 7 months. 7 months. We sacrificed having all the nice things in life so I could save money and pay for parts for that stupid dump truck. Right? 7 months. 7 months I was working on it every day after work. I sacrificed all that time, you know, that I could have been out, you know, off-roading, or, you know, who knows, going to the beach, or, you know, or going out to eat, or going to movies, or, you know, all that stuff. We sacrificed it all. You know, I never bought anything on Amazon unless it was a truck part. And then, so imagine, you know, we're saving and I'm working on everything, and we're just sacrificing, you know, all the food and everything. And then finally, you know, I get to the point where I got the frame fixed, which costed a fortune. For me back then, that was a fortune, you know, like I think I paid 5 grand to fix it. And that was like almost all my money. Yeah. It's the love-hate, John. Love-hate, man. Love-hate. On it when it's not raining and I'm rolling around in mud puddles and snow, and when I'm on dry concrete and it's 70, yeah, sign me up. You know? Until something breaks, then that's when I really hate life, you know? But, so, and I did so many videos of the truck, like, you guys can see, like, and I have, and this whole time, I didn't really buy clothes at all, right? If you go back and you look at my videos and look what I'm wearing, like, I'm wearing, like, company shirts that are, like, 4 or 5 years old. They got holes in them, you know. My shoes, I never bought new shoes. I never bought new socks. I was literally, when I was saving up to buy this dump truck, I literally had socks that I could almost put my whole foot through the hole. Like, and I absolutely hate holey socks. Holey socks are like my biggest pet peeve ever. Like, if my big toe starts poking out of a sock, I just want to rip the sock and throw it away. But I sacrificed. I kept those stupid holey socks, and I said, Brian, this is a sacrifice you're making, so one day you'll never have to do this ever again. Right? Same with my wife. And my kids, they're so young, they won't even remember none of this. You know, they might remember, they'll talk about it and they'll look at pictures, but they ain't going to remember it. They're 6 and 3, they're not going to remember this. I can't even remember until I was like 12 or 13, basically. But, so, you know, we hardly bought anything. Yeah, you just switched the side so it's on the pinky toe. No, that's almost worse when the little pinky toe is hanging out. Yeah, no, that was horrible. Trust me, man. Once I started cashing checks from that first dump truck, I was like, these socks are gone. All I want for Christmas is socks. Like, that's what I told people. Like, I want socks. I want some clothes, you know, that don't have holes in them. And I just remember my boots were so holey and they were so worn out. My boss literally gave me a pair of boots. He was like, dude, I can't have you wearing those anymore. You got to at least wear these to work. And he actually paid for a pair of boots. And, you know, I was just like, dude, I'm sacrificing, you know. So, you know, it's just, I'm getting all choked up right now. Whew. So, that was, you know, definitely sacrifices, some of the sacrifices. Then, you know, once I started cashing those checks from that Peterbilt, I knew, like, okay, like, we can't just upgrade our living right now. We just can't. We can't give ourselves that upgrade just yet. Let's hold on. Let's grind a little harder. Then we bought a few machines, right? We still didn't upgrade lifestyle yet. Then we bought that super dump because we sold the duplex, and then we took all that money and rolled it right into the business, you know, and that's how we bought the super dump. And then I've only driven the super dump like 4 times, you know, and actually been working, like, other than just like, hey, let's take it to the gas station because it's mine. Like, yeah, other than that, like, times I've worked in it. Other than that, it's always been my employee, you know. That's one of the sacrifices I've made. I've always driven my old truck, you know, because I want to keep my drivers happy. Yeah, I hope so. So, you know, that's a sacrifice. And then once we sold the duplex, like, we had a time and a date. Like, before I bought the super dump, I was about to buy a pickup. I was literally about to be like, yeah, I need a pickup. I was about to buy a $70,000 pickup. I'm like, nope, scratch that. That's costing us money. It's not making us money. That doesn't fit what our goals and our dreams are. Scratch that. We're buying the super dump. So I made that sacrifice. We bought the super dump. And then, at that point, the bank that was going to give us our home loan for our new construction loan was like, sorry, you haven't been in business for 2 full years. We need another full year. And at that point, that's when I was like, you know what, screw you, bank. I'm just going to pay cash for my house. I don't need no loan. And that's when I bought the super dump. And then, yeah, so we sacrificed the house for a super dump. No, we never hiring her. She can get lost. She can pound sand. She'll never work for me. But so we sacrificed our house, bought the super dump. Now, I just sold my pickup. I listed the pickup and my gooseneck, right? Because I'm like, I'm going to buy a nice pickup, because I've been dying to have a nice pickup, you know, a brand new one. And then, what do I do again? I just go and sacrifice. Like, this opportunity came up to buy this super dump, and you just can't pass up a killer deal like this. You know, you can't jump into a super dump for under $100,000 in Washington. And so I was like, yep, the house is going to wait a little bit longer. The pickup truck's going to wait a little bit longer. My wife's kitchen, she wants her own, like, super kitchen. That's going to have to wait a little bit longer. So we put off the house even longer. We put off having a nice family car even longer. So then, think about this. So now we've been living in a camper for like 4 months, 5. Let's see, we moved in October. November, December, January, February. So we're working on our 6th month of living in a camper, right? And I'm like, okay, I want a new pickup. We could easily do payments on a pickup, and we could still probably easily get a home loan. But I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's just buy this super dump that just came up. So yeah, and we were in survival mode, right? So we had a whole bunch of cash just sitting there, you know, that we were sacrificing, saving it, right? And then this opportunity came up to buy this dump truck, and we bought it. Now we're going to be hiring another driver. So now I sold my pickup. I have no pickup. And I got the gooseneck listed. We got it listed for $6,500. It's a fantastic gooseneck. It should be selling for more than that, but you know, not able to have money yet. How'd you find out about the new truck? I found out about the new truck because a guy I had offered work to like 3 or 4 times, he had a bigger company than me. So before COVID hit, he had 7 trucks. And then apparently after COVID hit, they dumped a whole bunch of their trucks, and now they're down to 4 trucks. And he recently just bought 2 super dumps. So he bought 2 at the same time out of Texas. He got a good deal on it apparently. And then I guess he decided this one wasn't for him, so he texted me, and I offered him work a few days ago, and they couldn't make it because their super dump was going into the shop, which was probably the one I bought. And he's like, you know, I was giving him work, and so he knew I had work, right? So if you got work, money, that's the way it goes. Like, you know, if somebody's working, they got money, you know, that's just like a no-brainer, right? So he just texted me. He said, hey man, I'm just putting this out there to everybody I know before I put it on the market or on Craigslist. 60,000. He sent me a picture, and I was like, 60,000 for that? Like, that looks pretty clean, you know? And from the picture, and I'm thinking, man, the motor's blown up or something, you know, something's wrong with it, you know, which, you know, it needs a lot of maintenance, but it's got good bones. And so I'm like, okay, do we want to make this sacrifice? Like, this is going to be another big sacrifice, babe. I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, honey, I'm talking to her as if we're going to pay full price, right? 60 grand. I'm like, 60 grand is going to set us back a little bit, but just think, if we do this, once it's paid for, we'll have 2 trucks that are completely paid for. The third one, you know, it's paying for itself. We got a small payment on it, so it's paying for itself easy. Imagine the amount of money this thing is going to bring in. It's like going to catapult us, you know, even further. And so, you know, we talked about it, and I had talked to my wife as early as last December about buying another super dump. Like, I've told you guys about it. I told you guys about it. I've been, you know, I'm like, man, we kind of want another super dump, you know. And so I was kind of working my wife, you know, just telling her like, hey honey, you know, we might buy another super dump before the house gets built, you know. And if we could buy a used one, you know, I'm sure I can make it work, you know, just like my old Peterbilt. I made that thing work. And so, you know, she finally moved along to the idea of accepting it. And then, you know, she said, yeah. And then the deal came up, and she was ready. I was ready. And then I talked to Grandpa. I said, Grandpa, you know, I got the money to basically, you know, pay for it right now, but the cash flow would really kill me in my business. And I said, you know, I easily got, you know, 20, 30,000 I could put down, but the rest, you know, it would kill my cash flow. I'd probably have to take payments from him. And he said, well, I got the money. And then we said, okay, you know. So then Grandpa, you know, he decided, because he knew all I've been talking to him too. Me and Grandpa talk almost every day, you know, about how the business is going and where the business is going, what it's doing, you know. And so Grandpa was on board from the start. Like when he heard the price, he was like, yes, now I will put down money to help you get this thing, because that is a steal of a deal. Like, but we need to look at it. And he's like, I want to be there. I'm like, okay, you'll be there. So we went and we did it, man. We bought it. We bought it. That's the third dump truck. 3 dump trucks, 2 excavators, and a dozer in 3 years. I mean, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment that we own, all of it except for one piece of machinery. One piece. That's it. Only the new super dump we don't own 100%. So when I tell you, if you want to start your own business, don't go into debt to do it, just sacrifice a little bit. I mean it. Like, that's what I did. And because I did that, because I sacrificed all that stuff, I feel like I have the right to tell you to sacrifice. If you want to start your own business, that's the best way to do it. Because if you learn how to sacrifice and you learn how to pay for stuff cash, you're not going to buy stuff, so much stuff before you can afford it, and it's not going to kill you, right? If you go out and you buy a brand new dump truck, you know, you've never run dump trucks before, you're going to start running it, and then next thing you know, you're going to go buy a diesel pickup because you think you're a hot shot, and, you know, that's what everybody does. As soon as they buy a dump truck, they go out and buy a brand new diesel pickup. And then next thing you know, then they're floundering in the payments. Floundering, like barely making it. And then they realize, I hate my life, I hate dump trucking, you know, this is not for me. How do I get out? I need to get this thing gone because it's not for me. Because they can't take it. Because there we are. Sorry about that, guys. I'm driving home and there's dead spots here in the reception, So here's the thing. Your path, you know, if you want to do something like that, if you want to sacrifice everything, it's so easy. As soon as you involve a wife and kids, right, you feel like you have more of a, like, well, if things go bad, you know, we're going to be SOL, you know what I mean? So it gives you, while when you're single, you don't have as much of a motivation to make it, because it's like, okay, well, if you fail, then just go get a job, big whoop. But when you got a family, you got to make it. You know what I mean? You got to make it. So you sacrifice as much as you can on paper, and, you know, if you have an amazing wife like how I do, you're going to make it happen no matter what. More drive, but more worry. I don't know what that means. But here's the way I look at it, guys. The more trucks you get, it's not really more anything. It's the same, if you think about it. You know? If I didn't spend that money on a dump truck and I didn't invest in something, I'd be losing money just having it sit there. If I invested it in something else, like the stock market could go down, and that's out of my control. At least if I invested in my own business, it's in my own control. You know, I have the control over my destiny. Because I don't believe in that destiny crap. I am back. You can't see me? Yeah, he's taking care of the super pretty good. He's taking care of it. He's had his mess ups and his, you know, mistakes, but everybody does. He's been a great driver. You know, I'm very thankful to have him. Very thankful to have him. Yeah, it comes with more worry to succeed, but it gives you more drive to succeed also, because it's like, if I don't make money, my family ain't eating. I mean, that's the cold hard truth about running your own business. If you don't make it, your family don't eat. You know? And so, here's another thing. Okay, so I sacrificed a ton of stuff, right? My grandpa sees all the sacrifices I've made to get my family where we're at now. He is more willing, like if I would have asked him for a $30,000 loan when I first started my business, he would have said, "You're crazy." He would have laughed at me probably. I mean, but he's seen all the sacrifices I've done. He's seen how hard I've worked and how much hours I've put into this. You know, the days that I've worked when he hasn't been there and the days that I have worked when he has been there. He's seen everything. So when somebody sees that you're working that hard, they know you're not going to fail either, right? So they get a confidence boost, and then they're willing to help sacrifice to make those dreams even better, even bigger, you know? Like, my grandpa knows that, you know, giving me the money to buy that truck, he's going to get the money back and then some, but it's, you know, it's definitely a sacrifice for him because he's giving it to me, but I mean, it's just sitting there, you know, so might as well do something with it, you know. And he knows that I take care of everything that I have, and, you know, I always make more out of what I got. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, if you give me $1, I'm making $10, you know. That's who I am, you know. I'm the guy that's gonna make it happen. You know, I've been that way ever since I can remember. I remember when I first had Pokemon cards, man, and I remember, you know, trading cards. I would always come out with the better deal for some reason. I was just good at making deals, you know. But it all starts with, you know, sacrifice. You'll never get to where you want to be if you don't start sacrificing the stuff you have to get to where you want to be. Because, let me just say, if you don't make any sacrifices, nobody's going to help you get anything extra. You're never going to get anything extra. I mean, every time I've made a sacrifice, my life has been blessed like 10 times every time I've made a sacrifice. I remember the first time I got my CDL, well, the only time I got my CDL, when I first got it. I remember when I had saved up $3,000, and that was enough to pay my rent and pay for the food and everything. And then my stepdad, I said, "Hey man, I saved up this money. I want to get a $3,000 loan from the bank. They won't loan it to me. Can you co-sign for me $3,000? And he said, "Yeah." He co-signed a $3,000 loan. I got my CDL, and I literally had zero in the bank. Zero. After I failed the test like 3 times, I finally passed the stupid test. It was rigged. They were stealing money. I mean, that's how I feel about the schools. They're rigged to steal your money. Because every time you fail, they collect another $100 from you to take the test. That's just how they get money. They make everybody fail a few times just so they can steal a few more $100 out of everybody's pockets. And then they say, "Okay, you got it." Right? It has nothing to do with safety or anything like that. But anyways, back off my side tangent rant. I sacrificed, we had nothing when I got my CDL. And I sacrificed this with the anticipation that the company I was working for, they promised me I would be making $17 an hour and I would have my own truck. I was at $14 an hour, and then I was supposed to get a $17 an hour pay. I was supposed to be up to $17 an hour once I got my CDL. I literally had to call my grandpa and was like, "Grandpa, we don't have money for food right now because I spent it all on these stupid CDL tests, you know." Can you bring over some groceries? That happened. And then that company had the nerve to be like, well, Brian, this is a probationary period. We got to see if you're good enough, you know. So then they milked me out at 14 bucks an hour for like 3 more months. And they're like, well, Brian, you're not the best driver and this and that. And I was like, whoa. I went to the office, to the main boss, and I said, look, man, if I don't get my raise in my truck today, then I'm gone tomorrow. No warning, no, hey, here's your 2 weeks notice. I quit because you lied to me. You told me I'd be making 17 once I got my CDL, and you screwed me. For 3 months, I've been working, you know, doing both jobs. That's the other thing too. I was driving the truck and loading the roof. I was doing both jobs, and I was still getting paid for the less job. And I was like, I'm getting taken advantage of here. And he's like, well, we can't just wave a wand and give you a raise. And I'm like, screw you, peace. I had a job the next day making 17 bucks an hour for the roofing company that was their competitor. Boom. First day, I walked in the door after I got done, and I had holes all in my shirt and everything because I was I deliver roofing. And I walked in, I said, I want a job driving a roofing truck, conveyor truck. I got all the skills. I worked for the competition. They promised me 17 bucks an hour once I got my CDL, and they screwed me. All I'm asking for is my 17 bucks an hour. Next day I was at work. They didn't even ask me to take a piss test till like a week in. And they're like, oh, by the way, Brian, we gotta have you take a piss test. We know you're good for it, but just, for the dog and pony show, you got to do it, so, but that was the sacrifice I made to get my CDL. I saved up $3,000 when I was making 14 bucks an hour. You know how long it takes to save up $3,000 when you're making 14 an hour? It takes a long time, especially when you go out to eat and you're at movie theaters and doing all that stuff. So if you ever want to get ahead in life, stop enjoying all the luxuries of life and sacrifice all those luxuries and save the money, and then next thing you know, you'll be at the next tax bracket. Next thing you know, I went from being like 60, 70,000 a year within 2 years, my business grossing over 300,000 in a year. That's in 3 years, 2 years. Right? So don't tell me it can't be done. It can be done. People told me that I couldn't get a job making $100,000 a year driving dump trucks, so I bought my own and I made it. My first summer, I remember still every single day that it still gets me. All riled up. Just thinking back to those lowlifes telling me I couldn't make $100,000 in a dump truck. In 1 year, I couldn't even make $100,000 in a year, and then I made 100 in 6 months. I was like, yeah, these guys, they can't do it. I'll do it. Never say that you can't do something, and just try to go for it, and you'll surprise yourself. They're getting a Lexar home built over there. I was wondering who was going to build that house. This guy's living in the camp too. He's got the nice top of the line camper, top of the line F350. I mean, he's got everything top of the line. But they're getting a house built. He's probably in debt up to his eyeballs. Maybe not though. Maybe he owns his own business like I do. Maybe he's crazy as I am. But so sometimes you gotta sacrifice the nice things in life so you can have triply things in life. If I never would have made that sacrifice to get my CDL, if I never would have made the sacrifice to save up and buy that first broken dump truck, I never would be where I'm at. All those sacrifices, they led up to this. We still don't have our house yet. right? So we're still sacrificing, but I guarantee you within 2 years, we're going to have it's going to be a nice house. It's going to be a nice house. And people are going to be, whenever they see it, they're going to be like, man, Brian did it, man. He did it. He killed it. He slayed it. You know? People are going to remember what I came from. You know, I came from nothing. Nothing. Oh, yeah. Well, and how many times did that get shared, too? And how many times did they joke? I was probably a meme, and I didn't even know it. Look at this guy smoking crack. He wants 100 grand. That was probably a meme or something. You know, they probably shared that on Facebook a million times. I've never seen a meme of me, but there could be. There could be. And then, here's the other thing. We beat all the odds. Like, if any of you guys know, like, the Detroit motor, the 2-stroke Detroit motor, they're not really known for, like, the best reliability. Like, a 60 series Detroit, yeah, those things run no matter what. But the 2-strokes, they have not been that reliable. You know, like a lot of times they, the long idles are not good for them. You know, and I still remember, man, those people, they're like, yeah, let's see your dump truck that you bought, Brian. When I bought it too, I was like, I'm gonna show all you guys that you're wrong, and I'm gonna make 100,000. And they're like, yeah, let's see this beautiful thing, and that's a pig with lipstick on it. And what are you gonna do, Brian? What are you gonna do? You know, what if? You know, what if the EPA, you know, shuts you down and you can't drive that truck? You know, that's going to be a cheap truck on the market. You know, all those naysayers, man, all of them, I slapped them. I backhanded them. Just like that. They all got backhanded when I made 100,000 in 6 months. In my head, that was a backhand to every single one of them. You know? And that was because of sacrifice. You know? Sacrifice pays off. But you have to have a team around you too. You cannot do this all by yourself. You know? That is definitely, I will preach that to the day I die. This is not all because of me either, though. You know? I got to give credit where it's due. My wife put up with everything. My grandpa helped me. I mean, I've had a lot of help. A lot. I'll still never forget. One of my biggest customers, I remember, I'm getting all teared up. I need some water or something. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I'm trying not to. My voice is getting all crackly. Talking so long, my throat starts to close up. So, one of my biggest customers nowadays, this past year I did almost $100,000 worth of revenue through this one customer, right? I'll never forget this. I didn't even know who he was. Like, I thought I knew who he was. I didn't have a clue. Let's get some more water. He stopped by one day. He was wearing church clothes. This is when I was changing the tires on the dump truck. And this was one of the first times I had ever changed tires. I was struggling with that stupid tire for like 6 hours because I had a tire iron that was like this long. Trying to change a semi dump truck tire, trying to change a semi dump truck tire with a tire iron this long. I was on that thing for like 6 hours, and it was showing. I was so greased up. Like, I looked like, you know, I was half black that day, man. All my arms were totally black from grease and struggling and fighting with that dump truck. And he came over. I can't remember exactly why he came over, but I remember and he was like, Brian, let me help you with that. I'm like, no way. You don't help me when you're dressed like that. You know, thank you for offering, you know. And I could tell he was serious. Ooh, almost choked on some water, guys. But anyways, he offered to help me, and I could tell he was sincere. And I was like, man, thank you for offering, but this is my school. Probably like a year and a half after that, I found out he was running like a multi-million-dollar business, you know, multi-million. I mean, he's in the millions. He's got like probably like 6 or 7 machines, 2 dump trucks. He's got like 3 crews. I had no idea what scale of business he was running. Like, I thought he was running, you know, I knew he was in the dirt work, but I didn't even have a clue, you know, because he ain't the bragging type. Like, he don't ever talk about he don't ever talk about nothing. Alright, time to change the subject so I can actually breathe again. But anyways, my son just waved at me. Yeah, I got those allergies. That's definitely what it is, Austin. It's definitely allergies, man. But, you know, he's definitely one of the guys I look up to. Yeah, I just got home. Home sweet home. We don't even have a generator on to get rid. There, I put it back. I put it back there. Is it crystal clear again? So there we go. Okay, I'll just leave you guys sit right there and we can talk for a few more minutes. I want you guys, if you guys are on this journey, I want you guys to put in the chat or in the comments, what kind of sacrifices are you making right now to make those dreams happen? What sacrifices are you guys making? You know, what are you guys giving up to get what you want in life. Like, what kind of sacrifice are you giving up? That's what I want to know. You know? I've given up a lot of stuff. So has my wife. My wife has put up with our bare bones budget for the past 3 years. Past 3.5 years, really. Almost 4. You know? We've both been on this bare bones budget, sacrificing. Yeah, Austin. You sold your second car? You're down to 1 car and you had 2 kids? New business as well, yep. Yeah, see, I just sold my pickup. We're down to 1 car right now. And so here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. So I just literally sold my pickup today, right? I literally just sold it today. The check engine light just went on the escape. Like, what are the chances of that? Today, the check engine light just started coming on. So now I got to figure out what that is all about. I mean, I checked the oil. Everything seemed normal. It ran perfect. Nothing out of the norm. But now there's a check engine light on. So who knows what, what's what. We'll have to wait and see. But we're going to have to put a lot of faith into this vehicle, until at least midsummer. O2 sensor. Yeah, it could be that. You never know. It's almost at 200,000 miles. It's at 185,000. We bought it when it had 100. It was 108. I gotta tell these kids to stop opening the door. Quit opening the door! They keep opening the door to wave at me. They're letting all the heat out. I paid good money for that propane to heat that camper. So, what else? There's 30 people in here. 12 likes. Pound that like button and tell me what you guys have sacrificed. I want to know some of the things you guys have sacrificed. And I guess you don't have to put it on here if you don't want to, It is all out in the open, but, whatever. My whole life's on YouTube, basically. So, I can tell you guys what I sacrificed. And we do have some cool things, though. I will say, when you do sacrifice, you do have to reward yourself every once in a while just to keep yourself motivated, right? Dang, Austin. There we go. Debt free. Me and my wife, so technically me and my wife are debt free, but the business ain't. The business owes, some money on that brand new super dump. But it's just so nuts. Being debt free is one of the best things you'll ever feel, man. It's just like a weight lifted off. Because then once you start saving money, and then you have like six months to a year worth saved up, and then you're like, man, if I don't want to go to work tomorrow, I don't have to. I could just chill. It just makes you so much less stressed. It's amazing. But you got to be careful because that right there will kill some of your motivation to like go kill it. You know what I mean? Like I find myself all the time like thinking, I don't want to do that. I got enough money. I don't need to do that. And then I tell myself, no, Brian, you still need to do that. You still got to get this done. So, being debt free definitely takes the stress off. And sometimes it motivates me more. Sometimes it motivates me less. When you got payments, and it's a steady reminder that you got to kill it. When you don't have payments, it's just like, well, I'll do whatever's whatever, unless you have a goal and you're really dedicated to that goal, then that will keep you motivated too. But, like the most important thing to me is my family, and as long as they're taken care of, that's my main goal is having them taken care of, you know. And then it's all the other cool little knickknacks, you know, the material things after that. Yep. Yeah, the business, I mean, if you can stay away from debt, do it. 99% of people cannot do debt the right way. They over leverage themselves every time. You know? And I'm probably guilty of that too, you know? Luckily, with me buying this new super dump, it's an interest-free loan, right? From my grandpa. It's interest-free, right? You know, but I'm going to pay him extra, you know, but he never asked me to, you know what I mean? So, it's, you know, without my grandpa's help, I would have did, you know, $30,000 down payment, and then I would have been doing $6,000 a month payments until it was paid off. And that's expensive as heck, because I would have had 10 grand going out a month. Yeah, yeah. Run a storage business, well, why not capitalize on people's greed, right? I don't understand the storage unit business. Like, I would never pay somebody to hold all my stuff. Like, I gotta have my stuff close to me. Like, if I had to pay somebody to hold my stuff, I might as well just sell it and buy it when I want it or when I need it. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe McNone. Anyways, his hands will crush you. I guess farriers have big hands. Is that something or what? I don't really get the joke if it's a joke. Because I'm not a horse guy. Like, I ridden a horse like 2 times. I think farriers, you guys put the metal shoes on them or something. But anyways, guys, I gotta get rolling. I gotta call my driver up and see if he was able to pick my wire up for the electrical. So I gotta do that and then spend some time with the family, kind of celebrating us buying that super dump. You know, my grandpa's super stoked. He's ready to come over and work on the thing. I'm ready to go to work on it. Super excited for that. So you guys stay tuned. We're gonna have a lot of content coming out real soon, working on the super dump. I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna do a video, everything that's wrong with it, and then, you know, we'll slowly go through the videos of us fixing everything, you know. So there's that. What do you get when you buy a $50,000 dump truck? You know, like, just more things that you can look at, you know, all that type of stuff. If you guys get any ideas of something you want to see on the new super dump, definitely leave that in the comments. Leave that in the chat. Yeah, okay, John. I'll try. No promises. So, yeah, just leave it in the chat if you want to see a specific video about the new super dump. You know, how it operates or, you know, that type of stuff. Leave it in the comments or the chat below, and I'll check that out, and then we'll get those rolling. I probably will be putting those videos out to the members first, you know, just because they have been pretty faithful, you know, Joey, Blake, you know, those guys that are the members. You know, it's like 99 cents a month, so it's basically free, you know, $1 a month. That's like nothing. So I'll probably put it out to those guys first, and then you guys will get to see it like a week or a month after them or something. But they'll all be definitely uploaded. So, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next one. What's that on? What do you mean? What's that on? It's the join button. If you click the join, the lowest membership, you get extra perks. You get a little icon next to your name. That lets me know that you're helping support the channel, and helping me basically get some sort of compensation for all the hours, thousands of hours I've put into YouTube, like doing these videos. But yeah, Klecker, I appreciate it, man. It's like 99 cents a month. It's like super cheap, and it just lets me know that you guys care. You keep putting out good videos. That does help me keep updated with the cameras and stuff that I buy for the YouTube channel, and that type of stuff. So all right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a good weekend.